So if I
Yeah,
want
it'd
to,
be easier to see on the
yeah,
computer than little phone.
yeah, because I'll email you the recording and then you can watch it too as many times as you need.
Okay.
Slow motion, because that's what I do whenever I'm dealing anything techie that I don't understand. I'm like, do you mind if I record this? That way I can go back and watch it a million times instead of reaching out to you a million times. And usually they're like, sure. I'm like, thanks.
I watched yesterday's YouTube video, I think 3 times.
See, but that's how you learn from stuff. So
Yeah.
that's the way to do it. So if I want to say I want to bookmark this, so if you want to set up one that has all your carriers under it. So like mine says symmetry carrier portals. So I just want to right click on the bookmark bar up top, and then I'm going to
Okay.
come down to add folder. And
Okay.
then when I get the folder, I can just name it whatever.
Okay.
So I'm just going to name this one test setup. And then I'm going to hit save. And now if I want to save this under test setup, I'm just going to hit the star. And then it's going to ask me, it's going to usually default to something here. So I'm just going to test. And I'm going to look and see, oh, there's my test setup folder. So it did come right up on the top. I'm going to click on that one and I'll hit done. Now, if I go in, I have a million folders.
I see.
I still need to go through. I have some from my former company here too, even. So if I go in the test folder, test setup, I click on that folder. Oh, did it not save it? Oh, actually, let me go under here as if I was doing a new one. Go back to that test setup. And there it is. It's on the left. I'm going to click test, and it's right there again.
Okay.
So, and then so when you're setting up your carriers, I have folders for every carrier. So like, oh, this didn't sync all my other ones. Let's go over to a different screen. Bear with me. I was sharing with you on Wave instead of my one I usually use. So where's the screen? Yeah, let's go over to the screen. So if I come over to this screen and I look at my sim carriers, I have all my new ones too. Like, so if there's GTL, my turbo, as
Mm.
I get my links, as you get your links from the carriers, and then some of them are on the training portal, and I'll show you where those are again too. Then I'm going to set up a folder under those sim carriers. Then I'm going to go in when I'm in that. Once I have that bookmarked up here, and then I want to add a folder in that one, then I do the same thing. I right click while I'm in that folder and hit add a folder, and it'll let me add for my carriers. Like I don't think I have Royal Neighbors yet. Or no, I know I don't have Allianz, and because I should be getting them. So I'm just going to,
How do I get them?
how do you get the carriers?
Mm-hmm.
So you just got you should be getting your NPN today. So when you get your NPN number, I'm going to send you, well, I can send you the form today, but then as soon as you get your NPN number, you're going to send me that form
I
back.
did.
And then once we'll send it over to Adam, and Adam will send it to contracting, and then you'll start getting emails in your new email to do like your SureLC, your benchmark, and Regen AI, which are your 3 spots that you'll do all your carriers. And it's pretty straightforward. It's going to ask you information all about you. The biggest question people ask me is they're like, what do I put for who I work for? You're self-employed, so you put self and you put
Okay.
your address because you're truly independent. So which is what you want to be.
Okay.
And then, like when I get my Allianz one, then here, I'll be able to go, I'm going to hit save. And then when I get Allianz, my Allianz folder is already created. I just have to, I'm going to drag it back up here. And if you want to move one, so if you have one, you use more, that's exactly what you just click on it and drag it. But you want to make sure that you drag it where it has the line in between. Because other words, it's going to end up, if it looks like it's right here, it's probably going to go in AIG's folder because it's too close to AIG. So you want to make sure it's got that line dividing them. Where if I click on it now, I can see where'd my Allianz go? Right there it is.
I don't see anything moving.
No? Am I not screen sharing?
Okay, I see. No, wait. Move your mouse.
Hold on. Is it not opening
I
up
don't.
the folders for you to see?
No, I just see a spreadsheet.
Oh, yeah, you're in the wrong, sharing the wrong thing. Sorry. Here we go.
That's okay.
See, I told you I'm not tech savvy though. So, so there's my alliance that I created. But if you want to move it, so say I want to move it up even further, I'm going to move it up here in between. I got to make sure it's got that line where it's in between.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's going to end up in Senior Sunshine or Columbus Life's folder.
Okay, gotcha.
That's where people usually, they're like, I know I created a folder. I'm like, start looking in your folders. It's probably, my husband's like the worst. He's like, I know I created a folder. I'm like, I'm sure you did, but it's probably in another one.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with living benefits, because I had no idea what those were when I started here, there's all the videos that are on the website for living benefits. Let's go
Okay.
to the website. Those are really good ones to watch to learn.
Okay.
Here, I'm gonna make sure I'm switching screens. Yep, it didn't. All right, so when you're setting up your computer, just go over here on under training video on the training portal. And then here's a lot of the links you can go right in and start bookmarking and saving and putting the links under.
Okay. I seen those. I just didn't know what to do with them
Yep.
right at this moment.
Yep, you want to save them. So because you're new, you'll be actually able, you're going to hear some of the people that have been here that transferred. They can't get some of the carriers that they had because there's a carrier rule that if you switch places, they make you wait a couple months before. So some people are going to tell you that, you're going to hear people saying, when do I get Foresters? When do I get Mutual of Omaha? Because you're new, you'll be able to have them all. So you have
Okay,
an
good.
advantage. Yeah, we
Good.
have them all. So because everything's set up under my husband. So you'll want to set up all of them.
Okay.
AIG is one you might not get for a while in United Home Life just because we didn't really move forward with them just because we already have Great Western, which, yeah, they're right here. Their rates beat AIG and they're the guaranteed issue for insurance. So you don't really need AIG because Great Western's better and you want to get your client the best rate. In Transamerica, we have them, but we don't use them a lot. United Home Life, they have, if your client has a lot of health conditions, but they're pricey. So some of the other products that we have are much better. So that's why they're a little bit towards the bottom. Not it's focused on
Okay.
them. And then, yeah, you kind of already been watching these videos. I'll get you a counting what count sheet. Actually, let me do that with you right now.
Did you hear me when I said I sent you my producer number?
Yep, I put it on your card for you.
Okay, good, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And let's get you a counting what count sheet. So this is where we'll track your business. So I'm gonna make a copy for Joy. See, I'm getting familiar with saying Joy. And I put Joy on your on your card too. I was like,
Let's see. I don't know. Hold on.
see, and
Think I could.
I'm bookmarking, I'm saving yours. So I'm gonna hit edit and I'm gonna make sure that you're in the right, I'm saving you in the right folder. Where is, there we go, counting what counts. All right, and let me share this with you too. Let me know if you get an email in your SFG email.
SFG.
Yep, I just sent it. So I just added you, so you should get it here shortly. Let me know if you got it.
Okay.
Then I'll walk you through how you're going to use this as soon as I make it bigger so we can both see it.
Got it.
Perfect. So make sure that you're using the right tab at the bottom. Like if you click on, you'll see, because somebody asked me, they were like, why does it end at the 24th of every month? I'm like, it's not, that's the year. They're like, oh, that makes sense. I'm like, yeah, because as you're here a while, like I've got 2022, 2023. So if you ever got to go back and look, you want to make sure it's easy to find. So that's why they're labeled by the year. So if you click on March, you'll see I've got some examples for you. So like you'll want to put like, if say this is, say you're writing one on yourself. Say it's GTL.
You said March. Click on March.
Yep. Do you see March at the bottom on the tabs?
All the way at the bottom.
Yep. At the very, very bottom on it. Are you on your phone?
No, I'm on the freaking laptop.
Oh, okay. Let's say, because it might, yeah, be small.
Okay, March. Got it.
Yep. So then you can kind of see, like, I've got examples and then I just put you in there and I put GTL as your carrier. Say you wrote, say it was $680. That was your, meaning like if it's 680, your APV is like 56 a month because you'll take 56 times 12, whatever their payment is monthly, times
Mhm.
12, that's your APV, your annual premium volume. That took me, I was like, what is APV again?
I'm writing it down as you say it.
Yep. Hey, Dylan, welcome on.
Okay.
So you're going to
Oh,
first put that it's submitted. And then once it's approved, then you'll put it over here as approved. So you might submit it on, I don't even know what today is. I had to look at the 319, but say it doesn't get approved. This is an instant approval one. So say it did take till tomorrow though. Say it was one that they wanted to review.
Hmm.
So we don't fill this one in until it's approved. So if we were doing it today and it's not approved today, and here's why, because like this is a team goal. But if we do over here, if I change this to like your monthly goal, where we want this to be your month, like we're trying to, really get you to your promotions. So we know you have 683 you submitted, but we only have $3 approved, which are your examples. But then the minute I
Yeah.
put that 680 in here is approved, now I know you have 680. So when I also come over here, like to, this is week, what, 3? So if I put 6 to 80 in here for my weeks, one app, now I also know I only need 4320. It's deducting for you to tell you how much more you need. But your first goal is actually only 2,500. So let's switch that for you. Oop, 25,000. And then if you decide you want to grow a team, then you have extra slots to fill in for your team. So if like Dylan was on your team, you would go here. And then if Dylan got a sale today, say it was 1,100, you would track his numbers too, because you want to make sure you're getting paid on his business. And then as a team member, if you're promoting as a team, you got to know where his business is too. So, and this stuff you'll get, this is not as big. I mean, you got to definitely track your numbers. And
Yeah.
for me,
It's a little confusing, but I'll learn.
yep, that's what we'll work with you on.
Okay.
And then, always mark whether you were paid out. So when you get paid, you just put an X or a yes, however you track. Go over that. Dylan,
I'll do.
we tried to call a client, but he didn't answer. So she got to hear how to leave a voicemail
oh, love it.
and send a text and shoot an email. How many of your carriers have you got in, Dylan?
I will tell you right now. Yes, I know GTL is one of them because I went to go write my mom's app
Yeah.
and I think I was just waiting. Oh, I had a question about that actually. So I got through everything. Um, the only thing I had a question with is once I get to the end of it, it asks about the LIMRA, the money
Limerick?
launder. Yeah, the money laundering thing. How do I send them a copy if they don't provide like a copy of completion?
So for Limra,
Uh-huh.
that's a good question. I don't know if we did. I used to do a screenshot. I would take a screenshot of it and I would
Mhm.
upload that. Sometimes some carriers you can just post a Limra and they can look it up in there. So
Okay.
try either one. And make sure if it's GTL, did you do the phone interview at the end? Did your mom do the call?
That was the only thing that we didn't do because
Okay.
it was a Sunday and I wasn't sure and I
Yep, it's
couldn't get to my.
24/7.
Oh, okay.
Because it's
All right,
not a
sweet.
live person with that one. So it's nice because
Okay, so that was the AI like bot
yep,
or
that's
whatever
the
that they
AI one.
have. Okay, sweet. All
Yeah,
right,
because
so
when I
then I'll
saw
get
that,
that
I
done
was
today.
like, because UHL used to have a phone interview, but it was like you'd have to wait, and sometimes you could be on hold for 10 minutes to even get a live person, which was
Oh,
frustrating.
geez.
And then sometimes it would be like they would just ask really quick questions. They'd be like, okay, we see you had this prescription. Can you tell us what it was for?
Yeah.
And sometimes you would get an agent who would literally go through and ask every medical question on the entire application. I'm like, this is weird. Like we already went through the application and you just never knew what you were going to get. So
Yeah.
we've done that 3 times now for GTL and it's always the same. It's very just your client has to have, and it's on the web, it's on our training portal.
Uh-huh.
I'm sharing my screen so I can go there. It's under the product training video. If you're not sure which ones, or if you don't see the number, because Mark called me and was like, hey, where's the number for it? I said, it's probably right in front of you. And literally it was.
Yep.
He goes, oh my God. He goes, you're right. I skipped over it the first time too. I didn't see it. And I was like, I don't understand. It said my guy was approved. I was like, why have I got paid on this? What are they waiting on? And it sent my guy an email, but then that's how we figured it out. It was like, it's saying we're having to do a phone interview. I'm like, that's weird. And then the next app, I was like, oh, it does say right on there, you have to do a phone interview. Like I skipped right over it. But yeah, so the number's here, and then here's all the information they need in case you forget, because you can't coach them. If you talk at all during this, then it gets referred to an underwriter to review.
Oh, geez. Okay.
So yep, make sure you're not, trying to coach or answer any of it for them, because that's what happened with our guy. Our guy kept saying life insurance, and they're like, we thought you said whole life, and he's like life, and then we're like term. And I think because we said term and they could tell the voice was different, he got referred to underwriting. Like, but it's basic information, just your full name, last four of the social, birth date, and it's very quick. It's very, very quick. I was like, oh, that's not bad at all.
And then just name of GTL product. So for that one, we just did the turbo term.
Yep, turbo term.
Perfect. And before I submit it, I do want to check with you. I think I did it correct, but she's what, 43? So I put her down for 20 years.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yep, if it took her for 20 years, yep, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, if you're using the quoting tool and it told you she was going to qualify for 20 years, then absolutely.
Sweet.
That quoting tool is priceless. Like, I love that. Because the guy that I had yesterday was like, oh yeah, I'm healthy. And then, he's like, well, I have high blood pressure. Then I have high cholesterol. Then I have then I have fibromyalgia. I'm like, 2 minutes ago, we didn't have anything. Now we have like 2 major and 2 regular like deals. I'm like, but that tool was priceless to tell me, what he qualified for. Because fibromyalgia and osteo can be, so when you're putting it all in there, I love it.
Nice.
Just kind of goes right into it all for you. So Dylan, you've been through a lot more training. So, I mean,
yes.
And on your GTL, if you want to see how your lady's doing too, like to track her, they do have a portal.
Okay.
So if you go in your GTL, it's probably going to make me log in again. Yeah. And it took me a minute to find this, so that's why I'm going to show you where it's at. Because I actually had to reach out to Mike. I'm like, hey, Mike, where do I see? Because all I could see was the review and resume. So I kept trying to come in here. When it says review, I'm like, okay, that's where my policies I probably wrote should be. No, they're actually under the access, look for the one that says view your commissions and click on that one.
Okay.
And then it's under recent business, because he's like, it's going to be under your recent business. I'm like, which is where? And then you click on it, and then it'll show you like my one guy is still pending, because this is the guy that, and they're pretty good with notes. And if you reach out to him, like you can see, I reached out. I'm like, hey, can you approve him for the 500,000? Because he originally, qualified for 500,000, and then this is the guy that asked, hey, can I upgrade to the million?
Oh, okay.
So they're upgrading him, but they're waiting on his medical report. So
gotcha.
As soon as I get that, and they're really good. If you email them, like if you hit reply to note, they'll email you right back. They're like, they're super quick, which is nice. It's nice to have a carrier that works with you and is accurate. So, yeah, so you'll know where that's at too for you. Anything you want to go over since you've been in the field for a minute, you're ready to dive in full force and go at it.
What are we doing as far as leads right now? Are we just doing Facebook or?
So we did Facebook, and I just turned mine on again yesterday. And then we also did I had Mark try these ones when I was driving up to, let me share my screen again. When I was driving up to Michigan, I was like, why don't you jump on and try these? So if you come under the advanced market and lead sources, I just kept them with the Facebook ones. I had him try Fundly.
Okay.
These were, if you're gonna do these, don't sign up for them right away. Do it where they offer like the trial, because you can
Okay.
do a full week trial for $99 and you can get as many leads as you want for $99 in that week. When
Okay.
he did it, they offered him 2 weeks for 147, and he
Oh,
ended up
dang.
getting 66 leads. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I should probably have him do, I don't know if we did record that. I'll have to go back and look because I know Mark and we went over, but I don't know if we recorded that. You can see the lead first, like when a lead, so if all three of us were in Sunly, if we
Mhm.
were all signed up for them, when a new lead comes in, we all three get a notification that says, hey, there's a new lead that come in. That's the only part I didn't like, is it's kind of a rat race. Is, it's who gets to it first.
Yeah.
But then you can see everything and you decide whether you want to take that lead. But you can't just go in and take every lead. Like you got to try and call it, and then you got to say that you reached that person, you had a conversation, so yep, it's your lead, you're taking it. And they
Okay.
have a big thing that says on there, if you're just taking leads and they find out that you're not validating, you're not calling first before you're claiming that lead, you'll be kicked out.
Okay.
So Mark got like 66 leads, but it has like the name, the email, the phone number, their height, their weight, their birthday, if they have medical conditions, how much coverage they're looking for. Um, some of them have, if they have a budget, what they're willing to spend. There's a box that says, do you have major medical conditions? So the very first one, he was like, I don't know if I want this, because the guy checked yes to major medical. That's when I was saying I would still
Yeah.
take it. I mean, and he did. He took my advice and took it. And then the guy, he's like, yeah, the guy, we're having conversation. I'm like, yeah, he wants coverage. He knows he has major medical conditions. Like,
Right.
so he knows. And then I haven't tried Happy Lead yet. Here's Razor Ridge. You can still get Razor Ridge too.
Okay.
Here's the Happy Leads. I haven't tried these, but
Mhm.
Sarah Reinecke, who has a very, very large team at Symmetry,
Yeah.
that's Jamie Susie's upline. She posts on Happy Leads all the time how great these are. So they must be pretty good leads.
Okay. Sweet.
And then lead latchers, this is one I wanted to try too. I just haven't tried it yet. This one is supposed to be, it's live transfers, meaning they have people that are calling, they're getting them on the phone for you,
Mhm.
pre-qualifying them, and they're like, yep, I'm interested. And then they're transferring them to you. And you only get
Huh.
charged if they're on the phone with you more than 3 minutes to make sure that, yeah, they're actually interested. It wasn't like when I worked investments, we had a team that would do that same thing.
Yeah.
That's only supposed to be a transfer if they qualified, had a certain like large enough trading account. They were actively in the markets, and sometimes they would transfer me people who were paper trading. Those aren't actual traders. Those are people who
Yeah.
practice trading. And I'd be like, this is not a transfer.
Right.
Put me right back on the transfer list, because you had to be a senior consultant to be on the transfer list. Because those are typically good leads. So I haven't tried these. I think these are about $40 a piece, when I was reviewing them. But I have not tried those ones yet either.
Okay.
And then of course Facebook, which I like Facebook. Just turn my
Yep.
back on. Razor Ridge to me is just like a Facebook lead with a markup. But
Okay.
some people have a hard time trying to run the Facebook ad. So even with the step-by-step, so it gives them that option. And I do want to try this Happy Agent leads. I'm probably going to dive in with them next week and try, just try them out at least.
Yeah, for sure.
And then of course, if you need help setting your ad up.
Yep. I still got the ad video in one of the emails.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
and it's on here. It's on the website too. I had it
perfect.
off the website for a while because we had some people that weren't on our team that
Right.
Brian Delaney had me coaching. So I removed it so that they couldn't see that, because they're like, hey, we can't see your Facebook. I'm like, yeah, it's because you're not on my team. I agreed to coach you. I did not agree to give you everything my team has.
Right.
That's a whole nother ballpark. um, but yeah, anything on that. And I have updated like the attachments, so all the emails should reflect the new verbiage and all that stuff,
Okay.
in case you need any of that.
Sweet. Okay. Perfect. And then awesome. Oh, but yeah, I have GTL. Who else? Baltimore I just got back.
Okay.
Um who else did I get?
Did you get Prosperity yet?
I did not. I don't even see. No, I did not.
And then did
Uh,
we have you get Mutual of Omaha and AMM and Foresters? Because I know you didn't write anything with them over there, so, but I know Adams was kind of funny with some. He just didn't want to raise any red flags with, a
yeah.
bunch of people all getting set up with the same that all left Symmetry and then,
I did not get set up with them again.
okay, so we'll make sure
Um,
that we get you them as well too, because you're.
but American National, Baltimore, GTL, Great Western, and then Lafayette.
Okay. Perfect. Morning, Miss Linda.
Hey, I made some of it. Hi, good morning.
It's odd seeing you without your glasses.
Oh, yeah, this is my unusual look. You get my morning look most of the time.
Sorry, you get my morning look too. It's not my best look, but this is, we work from home, so we're off.
Yes.
Although you're always put together.
Oh, close.
Me, I'm always comfy. I'm usually in sweats and I throw a real shirt on just to somewhat look professional for you
Well,
guys.
you
But
can only see what's in the screen, girl.
the reason why we work from home, guys, there's no reason to dress up.
Same,
Nope.
same.
Yep, we dress up if we have a carrier on the call, then I might, let my hair down and look professional. Other than that, we work from home for a reason.
Yeah.
Is there anything, Linda, that you want to go over today? I just asked Dylan and Joy's brand new, so she wants to go over everything.
Just waiting on these contracts.
Which ones do you have? I just asked.
The only ones, well, he just sent me the thing for Alliance yesterday, but that's the only ones I have are GTL and Prosperity. I have 5 out there sitting with carriers: Lafayette, Great Western, I think American National, Baltimore.
Yeah, it's weird. Some of you guys got Baltimore really fast. Like same with you, like Prosperity. You got Prosperity within like what, 7-8 hours?
Yes, yes. But then
They're like,
Baltimore, I
that was
was
a
really,
fluke. I'm like, well,
yeah, I
it's a
think
fluke.
so.
Yeah, because some people
And
are like, I don't even
then,
have Prosperity yet. I'm like, how do you not have Prosperity? Linda had
yeah,
that
I
in
don't,
like 7 hours.
yeah, I've got 5 out there.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, as soon as you get, so you have 2 terms. So as soon as you get Baltimore or Lafayette, as soon as you get a whole life, you'll be good to go.
what I really want Great Western, because I've got a couple of final expense ones that these are, instant, Great Western anyway is instant approval. So
Yeah,
that
that guaranteed
I
issue.
really need that one because
Okay.
I want to quote it and get it done.
Yeah, keep me posted on like Friday if you got any new ones. I know he
I
just got
will.
on them because he was like, guys, you're taking way too long to approve the background checks. And he's like, and they were like, you did throw a huge group at us. And he's like, I do understand that. Like, but you should be working through some of these, like, you know, because I kind of held off even putting some people even through until we get some
Yeah.
other ones through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is.
Yeah, because we want to get
I'm
you guys your
waiting.
carriers and get
In
you
the
going.
meantime, I'm working on the website and working on, trying to do this Facebook thing. I'm balancing the Facebook thing against the website, against the Facebook thing. So,
Yeah, the website thing, ask Mark for help because good Lord, I'm not, it's convenient. It's very time efficient, but I've done it so long manually that that's just what I know. So to me, it was like
yeah.
setting it all up. It was just, and then I'm always like, how do I know it's going to run smooth? So I haven't
Well,
fully set mine up.
there's a lot of YouTubes out there that'll show you how to do it. And I looked at Miriam's. Hers is very straightforward and easy to follow. Some are far more complicated. And so all I want is some push buttons to get contacts,
Right. Yeah.
right? So
I'm just going to post. Is there anything like on intro that you want to go over, or like objections, rebuttals, rapport building? Any of that? Like when I'm talking to my firemen or my first responders, I definitely like the first time, like if I'm calling, um, like if I'm calling Dylan, I'm like, hey Dylan, like I'll do just like Mark, I'll say, what do you do? Like, are you fire? Are you police? If he tells me, hey, I'm fire, I'm like, thanks for your service, man. I'm married to a fireman too. There's no way I could do what you guys do. My husband tells me about some of the calls he runs on. There is no way I could do what you guys do. That little line right there will gain you so much trust with a first responder and so much respect that you acknowledge that what they see. Like Jeff Butler, I think I added him to our website last night. He was a client who recruited himself, and when he called me last night, he's like, hey, I finally got my Illinois license. I'm like, yay, congrats. It only took, I think, like a month for them to get him his license for whatever reason. Like we were talking about, a call that disturbed him. The call was like 6 years ago, but then he ran on another call, and he was telling me about it last night, and he's like, it was a school bus full of like
Oh.
3 to 5-year-olds that got hit head on by a semi and burst into flames. They lost a lot of kids that day. That's very disturbing. And he's like, he goes, I came home that day and all I did is cry. And, my wife was like trying to console me. And I was like, there's nothing you can say or that's going to do that's going to make me feel better. So when you acknowledge that that's the kind of stuff they deal with on a day to day. And I mean, when they run that call, as soon as they're done, they're not done for the day. They're 24, 48, 72-hour shifts. So they don't get that time to decompress right then. They may get back to the station, have 5 minutes and be toned right out to the next emergency. So they don't get that time to process. That's why a lot of them are in an anxiety or something to help them sleep. And he's like, yep, we ran a call last week and it just kind of brought that back, like that call. And I'm like, yep, I know there was a call my husband ran, had 2 20-year-olds, didn't have seatbelts on, ran off the road and
Oh.
played chicken with a tree. Both the women died. The more concerning part was there was a car seat in the back seat. And since the adults didn't have seatbelts, they were wondering if the child was buckled in. Are they looking for a child that flew through a window? Is the
Oh.
child in the car? But my husband was like, at the end of the day, I know that a child lost their mother that day. And he's like, on the other side, the passenger was half outside the vehicle and the look on her face was pure panic when she passed. He's like, so she didn't die instantly. She was trying to crawl out of the car and he could not get the look of her on her face out of his vision. So when you acknowledge those kind of things, same with cops, if you're with law enforcement, man, hey, I could never deal your job. The way some people talk to you guys and treat you guys and what you guys deal with on a day to day, you guys are right up there with teachers. I could never do your job. Like I always say that. And they're like, they'll just open up. They're like, oh my God, yeah, I just ran this call the other day. Like that gets you in. So if you hit that right on, to me, it's very important when you're qualifying. Hey, what kind of first responder are you? You fire, you police, you dispatch. If it's dispatch, same thing. Man, I couldn't do your job. You guys take the front end of the call, and I know sometimes you don't even get to hear how that call ended. So sometimes they do hear how the call
Or
ended.
they have to stay on until
Yeah.
help arrives. And that sometimes is the most critical period.
Yep. So
I was going to say, when I listened to Mark's call to the retired fire chief, and I think he was even a volunteer fire chief. It suddenly brought back a memory to me that I had completely forgotten. I grew up in a very, very small town in upstate New York.
here,
Maybe 400 people. You could see one end of the town to the other.
same here.
And I had forgotten that my father was the volunteer fire chief.
Linda, how can you forget that?
I don't know. It just, I don't know. Maybe because I was so young, I
Maybe,
was
yeah.
just
So you
a
can use
baby.
that in your storytelling. Yeah, I would use
I
that all day
know.
long.
And I remember this one family that had this huge mansion in the middle. Well, it seemed like a mansion to me at the time, in the middle of town, and that home caught on fire and burned to the ground. And I remember the whole town turned out to observe our firefighting crew. It was
Mhm.
all volunteer.
Yep. A lot of what we
Put
get
that
are
fire out.
volunteers because volunteers don't have any benefits offered.
No,
So, and if they do, it's accident only. So we get a
Yeah.
lot of volunteers, and that was one of the things on Mark's call I kind of coached. I was like, Mark, that guy told you he was a 40-year chief. That's something like you kind of brushed right past that. With these guys, that's something you want to acknowledge. 40 years on the job, man. Thank you for all you've done. You've helped a lot of families throughout the years. So I'm really glad you're letting us help you and your family when the day comes that, you showed up for a lot of people. We're going to be here to show up for you. That empathy, that acknowledgement, I'm telling you with these guys, they need it. They need that ego boost. As my husband said, my husband used to be a very social person, always wanted to go out, do stuff. Then he became a fireman, and now it's like you have to drag him out. And he's like, it's because I deal with people all day, and I don't deal with the finest people all day. So they don't want to deal with people. That's why a lot of them prefer to text, because I just don't want to talk and they don't want to deal with people. So when you acknowledge that, what they're doing is a big thing and not, hey, you're scum, because some people tell them, I mean, my husband's brought back people, that OD'd, and you'd think they'd be, hey, thanks for saving my life. Instead, they're ticked. They're like, you just ruined my high. It's like, you're welcome. I saved your life. You're still here. You're welcome. Instead, they're
yeah,
combative. They're upset. They're mad.
that's the high talking.
Yep. So
Mhm.
it's like, when you just acknowledge some of those things that they see every day, and just relate to them, you've gained their trust. And that really sets you aside from all these other people who are just trying to run a first responder ad thinking, oh, it's first responders, they're easy sales. You got to know how to talk to them. That's one of the
No, even on that call with Mark, he was very not very reticent to talk to Mark in those first 5 minutes. He was just
Yep.
like, boom,
Yep.
boom.
That's
Yep.
why,
Didn't
yep,
want to answer the questions, was very withholding.
very evasive. Yep.
And
That's why
it
I'm
took
like,
a
just,
while for him to warm up.
That's why, get right in there, Hey, Linda,
Yeah.
what do? You fire, you police, dispatch, what do you do? Or what did you do in the past? And then they'll tell you, and they're proud to tell you too. So then
Yeah.
you got to feed into that, like Mark asked, but then he was like, there was a pause and he was like, okay, very good. I'm like, no, Mark, that was a big opportunity you just left right there. That one, 40-year chief, like that's where you're like, man, you've done a lot in 40 years. You've seen a lot in 40 years. So you more than others, today we're here, tomorrow we may not be.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
always
I
pointing
was
it out.
afraid to set up a first responders Facebook page, and then suddenly that memory was like, oh, I can do that because I
Yep, you
have a
sure can.
connection, and I was like, oh,
Yeah,
this
and
big light bulb.
volunteers is a big one.
Volunteers,
Yep.
yeah,
When I talk to a volunteer, I'm like, man, I know sometimes those calls are even rougher because it's usually
they're
people in
not in the
community.
station house.
Yep. And they're people usually. You might run a
Yeah.
call. My ex-husband was a volunteer up in Ohio. One of the first calls he ran was somebody he went to school who committed suicide in his garage running his car, carbon monoxide. So that was one of the first calls he ran. He ran another call that was a friend of ours who was pregnant that got trapped. She got T-boned by a statey trying to
Oh,
pull out and go after someone, and she took off at the same time. And he T-boned her, and she got caught in the car, and she burnt to death at 8 months pregnant.
oh,
So, that was a tough call. Um, so when they're
yeah,
volunteers, you want to acknowledge that, hey, these are people you may actually know too. And they can't willingly come home and spread that news either. They're still bound to the same, privacy policy stuff. So
yeah.
they want to vent it to somebody. So it's good. I used to ask people, hey, what's your favorite call that you ran? And sometimes they would tell you a really funny, good, positive story. And then sometimes they would tell you like one, that wasn't positive. So, but it's always good to let them, just tell them their story. And that's how they'll remember you. That's how I always had such good rapport with my clients that, as Symmetry are calling my clients back, trying to upsell them. Like they're
Really?
calling all my clients now. Like they called my one guy who had guaranteed issue. They're like, hey, you may qualify for an additional 10,000. I'm like, they're not even looking to see, like this guy is
What
already maxed
he
out.
already had.
But thanks for referring him because he reached out to me and it worked out. 'Cause,
Huh.
yeah,
I wonder. Well,
yeah, because I
we'll
have good
see what
rapport with them.
happens.
So every time, they're reaching out to my clients, they're reaching back out to me and they're like, hey, this person reached out to me and says they work with you. I'm like, yeah, they don't work with me. Like, I'm very honest.
So you must have hundreds, if not 1,000 or more clients. Have you reached out to all of them to let them
So
know you're,
that is on my to-do list. Yep, I am going to reach out because I noticed because some of them are telling me Symmetry is reaching out to them and trying to offer them additional coverage. And I know why they're
Okay.
doing it, because if they are the last one to write, then they're the agent of record and they're trying to claim
Yes.
clients. So wasn't very smart on them though, because I've asked them over 4 times in writing to remove my clients from their list since mine are self-generated leads. And on my privacy policy, it says we do not sell your information to third party, and that's exactly what Symmetry is. They're third party.
Third party.
So I contacted the law firm that has a suit against Symmetry right now, not mine, but a totally different lawsuit for unethical phone practices. It's a class action suit, and I reached out to them and I spoke with them yesterday, sent them the screenshots, and they're like, they told me, please reach out to all your clients. They coached me and they're like, because I was able to show them, look, I sent even to Symmetry's attorney, remove my people from your list. This is my privacy policy on my ad that you approved. So you know what it says and you know what you're doing is wrong. And it's also misleading when you're calling my client saying we work together. That is unethical. And then they're still calling them. So they're like, oh, 100%, your clients are entitled to compensation if they're reaching out. I'm like, okay. So I reached out to like their one lady told my guy to F off, like 2 months ago. I think I told you about that call. I was on the call with my client and they're a lady when, I was explaining to him, like, no, they're a third party. They do not work with me. He thought he put her on mute or on hold. She was on the whole time. And she came back on. I was like, yeah, just go ahead and bring her back on. Just tell her you're all set. And she's like, I've been here the whole time. She's like, F you and F you. And I'm like, definitely doesn't work with me. I would never have any of my agents talk to somebody like that. And then that same agent called back a week later and he was like, I have the voicemail still. I have the text transcript. It's like, Misty, you're not going to believe it. That girl called me back a week later after it was addressed with Brandon Ellison and the corporate attorney that they need to remove my people. And I'm like, they're like, that guy definitely is entitled to compensation. So I reached out to him like, hey, Robert, remember when that lady, I was like, hey, I think I can get you some compensation. So, and he was like, thanks. He's like, I'll call him tomorrow. Cause it was like 9 o'clock at night last night. And I was like, yeah, no problem. I was like, remember, if you get millions though, I was your favorite agent. He's like, 100%. But having those relationships with your clients out the gates, that's what will help you. And then that gets you referrals too. And you want those because those are free leads.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
So even though we purchased the lead, they can go after it?
They tried to, but
Okay.
with that new compliance law that passed, no. Because the
Okay.
new compliance law with leads, and that's why they were so bent on trying to learn what we do, is because their bonus leads, how they resell leads, they can't do that. The compliance
Right.
law says if Linda had an ad and I gave Linda permission to call me, only Linda can call me. Linda can't say, hey, you know what, Dylan, I never got a hold of this person, so you try and go after it. Because now Dylan isn't in compliance because Dylan never had permission from that client to call. Only Linda.
I see. Okay.
So that's where,
Okay.
they sell a lead and then they resell it. Like you buy it for $70, you don't sell it. So then Dylan gets a chance to buy it for like $40. Then he didn't sell it. So I can buy it for like 12 and then Joy can buy it for like 8 and then it just keeps going down. And they only give you like 4 weeks. And
Right.
like when I was going through my audit with John Hancock, I had to go through and show where every lead I had came from and
Oh my
correspondence. So I
gosh.
was going through my email and searching and I put my one client's name in. I sold this guy 2 years ago and I was like, why is he coming up under Lindsay, the new girl Lindsay that was there right before we left? I was like, why is it coming up under Lindsay? And I looked because he was on her lead. They sold it to her as a lead. I'm like, I sold
Oh,
this guy 2 years ago. He was clearly marked as sold. So why are they selling it to her as he's still an active lead? And that's why they have that lawsuit, is because there's so many people that have complained that they've either asked to be removed from their call list and they're still getting calls. They never requested information at all, which I provided them a lovely video recording that I also had with one of Symmetry's lead developers that was showing me how they develop lighthouse leads, unknowing, he didn't realize what he was showing me, but I realized as soon as he was showing me what I knew exactly what I was looking at because I generate my own leads too. And I'm like, he literally went into the detail where sometimes they only partially fill out, but they can take the IP addresses. That's how I knew they tracked IP addresses. And they can track, it looks like Joy is in this town. So we can try to cyberstalk Joy and get the rest of her missing information to fill in the blanks. That's why sometimes you may call a lead and it says, just like the one you got, where it was actually a database provider.
That's right.
Because it's not accurate
Totally third
information.
party.
Yep. So I gave them that
I
video.
was so
and they were like,
shocked.
thank you. They're like, do you have the original source that shows where this video came from so we can validate? And I'm like, actually, I do. I have the email where the developer sent it to me. And they're like, thank you, because that justifies it. So yeah, they're in a lot
Well,
of.
I never did make it to John Hancock status, so I'm good with them.
Me either.
I didn't
Yeah.
even contract with them really, so.
My son-in-law never wrote anything, and another guy that was here, John Jermaine, they both got emails saying that they were dropped. They're and red flagged. They're like, we never wrote anything. I'm like, I think everybody's just getting that.
I think I've disappeared into the cracks of the sidewalk, to be honest with you. I'm not sure why, but I have.
Yeah, because John Hancock, I mean, you should have been close to where you could have got John Hancock.
I was.
And then some
I think I
people,
was right there.
like Jennifer Botowski, like she was just one in that rare group. There was like a week to 2 week window where they messed up and they had them on the onboarding. And I was like, yeah, if you can request them, go ahead and request it. So she was able to get it, but she never wrote anything with them either. And she got a thing saying, yeah, she was red flagged. And she's like, I never wrote anything with them. She's like, I barely just got them. So that kind of stuff. But
Well, it's a nasty game they're playing and it's really true to form. So we're
it's-
better off without, and we're just moving forward.
yeah, so it's gonna come back on them anyhow. So all works out for my favor. Anything else you wanted to go over today? Like anything on the phones or email or quoting? A way we can address.
Joyanne, how you doing? Joy, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I know you're pretty new at this, right? So
Yeah, I'm not sure what
ask
question
a-
to ask.
ask
I'm
away.
Yeah, she just got her license number yesterday. So
Oh, yay.
I see
Hey,
your
Misty.
insurance link.
I just
Well,
sent
don't get
mine.
discouraged, Joy. Don't get discouraged.
Thank
It
you.
takes time. It takes time.
Okay.
It's still taking me time.
Everyone's
Right
sitting
now,
still.
I'm finally ready and I'm chomping.
Yeah, but
What'd
when
you
you
say?
write apps, Linda, they're good size apps. So like 2,700, 3,200, like they're
I
large
only go.
size apps.
I searched for the big fish.
That's right.
I got this big fish. Now I've got him like, just hang on. I'm
Yeah.
gonna get something for you. So I'm gonna throw him through the quoting tool today, I think, and just see what comes back at me.
Yep. the quoting
And
tool
if
is
something
epic.
good comes back, then I'm gonna reach out to him, say, hey, got some new stuff. Because I emailed him, told him I'm working on getting some new stuff.
Yep.
Didn't tell him
That's what I told
anything
my
else.
carriers. The people I had on hold, I was like, hey guys, I'm just putting you on pause because we just added 10 new carriers. So I want to make sure we truly quoted you the best of the best.
Mhm.
They were all like, okay, yeah, thanks. And then the last
Yeah.
Thursday, I started going back through and quoting, okay, can I get your birthday? Can I get your medical? Like,
Yeah.
basically I was re-quoting. Dylan, I know you said you're working on your mom. Any
Yes.
other ones that you're working on that you need help with or anything?
Not at the current moment.
Okay.
I've just been trying to get the website set up. I was confused on where to get leads and everything like that too. I think we'll probably set up as soon as I figure out who to go through, a accidental with my girlfriend, so we'll be good there.
Okay.
And then I just got to get, my Facebook lead back up and get back in the groove of things.
Back in the groove. I know that's how I felt yesterday when I was like, oh, the first lead came back in. I was like, it's like getting back on a bike again. I was
Right.
and asking all the right information. But you know what? It did work out better because then that was my guy that was like, oh yeah, I'm healthy. And then, it was like, well, I have high blood pressure. I'm like, okay, so how many prescriptions? He's like, 2. I'm like, and what are they called? He's like, I don't know. He's like, but the one is 0.6 milligrams. I'm like, so you know your prescription
Dosage,
amount, but
Dosage, but not the
he's like, my
name.
wife will know all that. I'm like, okay. I was like, he's like, I know the one starts with the C. I'm like, I can try to Google blood pressure medicine that starts with the C and see what comes up. And that's what that nice thing about that quoting tool. And then I sent him his rates, and then because he had health conditions, he didn't come in with GTL, he didn't come in with Prosperity, he came with AMAM, which, isn't the best rate, but it was still a good rate. And he was like, these are impressive. He only wanted 50,000 to 100. So I sent him 50,000 and 100. And he's like, these are impressive. He's like, can I also get coverage on my wife and my kids? And I'm like, yep, I know you said your wife had an incident where she kind of faints at times. She has very low blood pressure because he mentioned that. And that's where, I'm like, write everything down. I was like, so I'm going to need to know what prescription she's on for that. And when she started I was like, and your kids, yes, let's definitely get your kids enrolled, because just like you have health conditions now, and you see, like, didn't have access to every carrier I wanted to offer you. Your kids, the best time to get them enrolled is when they're young and healthy. Anytime I talk to somebody who's diabetic or like obese, any kind of medical thing that could anything be hereditary, I'm like, let's get your kids enrolled now. And I'm dealing with a grandparent who's because we got their kids enrolled. Now he's like, I need my grandkids to have these ULs. I'm like, okay, well, we can get them enrolled in the UL, but your kids have to be the owners, because foresters will not let the grandparents be owners. I'm like, you can pay
Right.
for it, but you can't be the owner. They're like, okay. So I'm like, I'm going to need all the information and your kids are going to have to sign for it. They're like, okay.
Social security numbers. That's
Yep, all that
usually the
fun
big
stuff.
hang up.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the cool thing with those, it worked out that we waited on those because we get renewals on the Smart UL over here. We didn't get renewals at Symmetry for Forrester's Smart UL.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah. And the Mutual of
I
Omaha.
quoted, but I
I-
never sold. So good to know.
Yeah. The Mutual of Omaha, I forgot to hit publish. I'm doing that now. I added under the IUL. Someone told me the Mutual of Omaha IUL is very easy to write. So I just added the video for that under IUL training on our website. I just hit
Okay.
publish, so it would be on there. It's publishing it.
Okay.
Because that's good too for kids. So UL or IUL. I just like Foresters because I always tell them, just like I said yesterday, if Linda's got kids and something happens to her kids and she's going to be taking care of the grandkids, Linda's also now getting $900 a month because that orphans children benefit plan is also kicking in. She also has
Yeah.
college for them.
Joy, that's a good one to read through all the benefits, because it's a not-for-profit insurance carrier, and they provide a ton of different
Benefit
community benefits, scholarship benefits,
grants.
What's it called?
grants. It's our
Foresters.
foresters.
Yep, get to learn the Foresters products because that's one of the carriers you'll be able to get right away since you didn't have them over there.
And it's great for children and grandchildren. If a grandparent, if you can find a grandparent that wants to do something for their grandchild, or a parent, then this is a great gift. Great birthday gift, great holiday gift, great lifetime legacy gift, because when they turn 18, they can convert it and just bring it right along with them throughout their lifetime, and the premium stays the same, and they can borrow against it. They can use it as an asset for a future real estate loan.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful, wonderful benefits to it.
My first husband and I actually did that. He had a children's whole life policy his parents took out for him. When we applied for our home loan, they asked about life insurance, and I was like,
Yeah,
lady trying to
nobody
kill off my
thinks
husband?
about it.
Like, and she's like, no, but if you had, and he did, he had a policy that his parents had taken out when it was like a Gerber policy it had as a child, and it had a cash value, build up. So we were able to use that as an asset, listed as an asset. So we didn't have to put as much money down when we were buying the house. So I was like, cool, who knew? So
Who knew?
when I talked to, I was like, it's great to have a permanent plan, builds cash when they, become a big boy, big girl, and they go to buy that first house. They're going to have some funds that they can pull out if they need to put down on that down payment. They're also able to list this as an asset. they're like, oh, just shows all the points and perks of that plan. And then it has a plan. It's called, one of the built-in benefits on all their plans for them is it's called the Orphans Children Benefit. I hate the name of it. It just sounds so cold.
But there's no other word for it.
But it's true, yeah, orphan. But if both parents are killed, whoever the children's guardian is, they get, basically it's like child support for the kids. If they got 3 kids, they're getting $900 a month per child up till each month till that child turns 18. The guardian gets that. That way the parents can leave their children as contingent benefits so that they
So
get
that's in addition to the Social Security benefits that they're going to get for that child. So that child is well set, not only for their day to day, but schooling and future education and
yeah.
yeah,
It's
really
not built-in
good.
plans.
Really good.
And they're like to Linda said, their rate doesn't change. Like if they take out 100,000 and their rate's 36, they'll be 80.
And
They'll
it's
still have
still
100,000 and
36.
it's only 36 a month. Their rate never changes.
And that's a hard one to explain to people because they go, how can that be? Well,
They can
because
show me the illustration. I'm like, well, because look, it shows you right here in the illustration. And like, because we locked in your health from day one. This is a permanent plan. So just like a whole life, but you can go up in a higher coverage amount a little bit, and it has a flexible. So when you're quoting that one, it's going to give you 3 payment options. It's the premium that you're quoting them is the smart solve because it'll tell you minimum. And some people were like quoting that. And I'm like, no, they don't get the minimum payment. That's if they have a hardship, they can drop to the minimum.
write that down, Joy. Smart Solve. That's the one you're going to quote for
Yep.
foresters. Yes, Smart Solve. No other premium.
Yep.
Say it again.
Smart Solve. The premium column that says Smart Solve.
In Foresters?
In
Yep.
foresters, yeah.
For the smart UL, yep.
For the Smart UL.
Foresters is your best carrier too for diabetics. They're really good with diabetics.
Good. My husband's a diabetic.
Yep.
There
They're
you
really good
go.
with diabetics.
I can see where she's headed.
And you get free tickets. Like, they just like, they'll send you an email. You got to register for like, their benefits, but then they'll send you emails that said, like, we get them all the time. It says, hey, do you want 4 tickets to the Rays games? And you get 4 free tickets to go to the Rays games or the Bucks or, whatever. It's like local
Whatever
events.
team.
Sometimes it's concerts, a lot of sporting events. So if Foresters is a sponsor for them at all, and they do sponsor a lot of stuff, then you'll get emails. Hey, do you want tickets, free tickets? And you get up to 4 free tickets. And they do it like 6 times a year.
And do I have to pay from these companies? Do I have to pay to get leads?
So you'll have
Oh.
to pay to get your leads in general, with your Facebook lead, whether you're doing Facebook lead, whether you're doing the happy leads. The carriers don't give you leads, no.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
Facebook's for me.
Happy Agent's running a really big special. They're
Okay.
still carrying it on. I'm just not buying anything until I'm contracted with everybody so I can start,
Yeah, that makes sense.
saying, quoting with the quoting tool. Razor Ridge has probably got the best leads, but you have to make at least 3 sales before you can qualify for Razor Ridge.
Well, that was the symmetry rule. So since you're buying them through
Oh.
Razor Ridge Direct, you can buy
Direct.
them.
You can just go for it.
Yep. You can
Now,
just get right in there.
their most expensive ones are the best ones, but you don't want to be buying the most expensive ones. They have what's called I think it's called a training level, which are the least expensive ones.
Yeah, it's like a bonus level or something.
Yeah.
Value lead, I think they called them.
Value, yeah. They're not cheap, but they're not like the highest level of lead with Razor Ridge is like $75 a lead.
Yeah, and you don't want to be
We're
learning
not at
those.
that level.
Yeah, you don't want to
So,
be learning
Don't do that.
on those.
No.
I
No.
always tell agents you don't want to learn on those.
No.
You don't want to make mistakes off a $70 lead. When you're new, just reach out. If you're not sure on something, just reach out. But the tool does most of the work for you. But if you're still
Best way is to just be on the training site, follow Misty's way of setting up your Facebook ad, choose, $15 a day, $25 a day, choose 2 or 3 days a week, have it run that way, and you'll get leads.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't understand. Choose $15 a day. Is it on the website? Like I'm not
Yeah,
Okay.
there's
Go,
a
Misty.
video on there that walks you through how to set up your leads. Like, so like, here's my,
Okay.
like I have 2 ads running. So this is mine. So let me refresh to see if I got anything new. So I just turned mine back on yesterday. So mine's in learning. So it's not running as fluid as it usually does. Cause anytime you first start it, it's going to be what's called learning, which means it's trying to learn your audience. So that's why it says learning. But you can see like I have mine on a $15 a day budget. I have 2 ads running. I only have $15 a day budget. I've already gotten 1 lead today so far. So my lead cost was like $5.74. And that will go
Okay.
down as I get more leads. Like I've had 213 people who have seen it. I've had 228 people who have, which that doesn't really make sense. Clicked like on they've made an impression.
Okay.
They've either liked it or shared it or something along those lines. And I just turned it on last night. So last night I got 1 lead from the one. So it ended up being $17 a lead just because, but this will go down. Like if I go to if I go to January and I look at like just a week in January, you can see I was getting like 26 leads and they were like $3 a lead. That's what you're wanting. So as my ad runs more and my reach gets more, my lead cost is going to go way down because
Okay. So I'm still learning, but so you're saying once I set up like advertisement basically for myself.
yes. And it's
Okay.
not on your personal Facebook. Yeah, the video
Make
will walk you through. Yep. You're going to set up a business profile and then
Okay.
it's going to run all like if you're just licensed in Virginia, it's not going to cover just your friends list. It's going to cover all of Virginia.
Okay.
So on the Centron training site, it's under more.
Yeah, it's under the more, and then you're going to go under, advanced market training. And then you'll see where it says lead sources and bonuses.
Hang on, I'm writing this down.
It's under
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, I made it where it's not easy to find.
Okay, so under more, ad market or advanced market training.
Marketing.
Yep. And then lead sources. And then just watch that Facebook video step by step.
And she'll walk you right through how to set up a Facebook advertising page.
Okay, so I'm supposed to get my computer today, so just bear with me.
Yep.
Oh, that's the fortunate thing about these contracts coming in slow is that you
Oh,
do
yeah.
have a little time. It's kind of a backwards thing, but actually you've got time. So
I'm just an impatient person, I guess. I think everything has to happen all at once.
I think we all are
Okay,
actually, right?
okay,
At this point.
You'll fit right in
We
there.
all are.
But that's a
We're
good
like,
thing.
come on, come on, come on.
Yes.
So I think Mark could probably help her a little bit too, don't you, Misty?
Yes.
Yeah, Mark could help you a little bit.
Did you see my email, Misty?
Did you just send it?
No, I sent it earlier, but I think I put my signature on the last one that I sent.
Let me take a look. I gotta remember which email we were in.
It was 12 for me.
No, was it my SFG email or was it my .life email?
Let me look.
I think it was my SFG because,
Yes.
oh, there, yep, I see it up top.
Did it come? That's all I sent.
Where did it just go now? There we go. No, it didn't work. It's just,
What?
So let's go through it though. I'll show you how to do it.
Okay, so I put it on not the SFG email.
So you're just gonna come up here under signature, click on this little tool.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna hit see all settings.
Yeah, it don't look like that on my computer.
And your Gmail, no?
It's your whole computer looks so different than what I'm looking at for G. You want to see it? Hold on.
Yeah, yep, actually, yeah. Here, let's walk you through. Let's have you screen share. You can,
I can just turn my camera around because I'm on my phone with you.
oh, okay.
Let me see if I can do that.
Oh, actually. So I do see your card on the one. Yep.
Just blurry.
It's really blurry. I can't see that.
Yeah.
So I do see your business card, yeah, on this one.
Okay. Yeah, that's all. I fixed it on that one. So do
Yep.
you want me to put it on the SFG one or should I get rid of the SFG one?
If you're gonna get rid of the SFG one, just let me know so I can switch on your card because it has that one on there.
Yeah, I just didn't know since it wasn't symmetry anymore.
Yeah, I'm like, you had set that up, but yeah, I mean, if you want to set up a different email, like we did, first name, last name, .life@gmail.com, or some people did like, whatever their domain name was going to be, they use that. So it's whatever you want. You just don't want to use your personal one just because then your carriers are going to get mixed in and lost with all your personal stuff. And you don't want that.
And I don't want my carriers to think that I work for SFG.
That too. So I would set up, yeah, like a joysync.life
Okay.
at Gmail. And then let me know when you have that. And then here, I'm going to change your business card.
I know how to do it now, so.
Perfect. And then, yeah, let me change your picture on there and I will resend that.
All right. So I'll make that new one later because of course I have to go pick up Izzy.
Yeah, no problem. Just whenever you do it, just let me know. And then that's the one I'm going to send your contracting to. And that's the one that we'll want all your stuff to go to.
Okay.
That way, yep, we can keep everything separate.
Sounds good.
Perfect. Anything else you guys want to go over this morning?
Were we supposed to get a new login for SureLC?
Mhm.
So you're definitely, yeah, you're not using the same one. because-
Okay. So I so when I go and I fill out the contracts, I had like a new one set up and it was through my personal email, but I never actually got a like separate email being like, hey, like you can log into it and look at everything.
That's a good
Hmm.
Mark question.
Okay.
Or Adam, just because I didn't do SureLC because we're not doing me with the contract. My husband did them all. And
Okay.
if I ask him, he's gonna be like, I don't remember. I'm like, because he was my nightmare that used his personal email, and I'm like, Jason, I'm going through your yeah, so you did it too. So
Yeah.
I constantly have to have my husband's personal email and sort through all his spam email to make sure I'm not missing stuff from carriers, and it's a nightmare.
Oh,
So-
yeah, I got an actual email to set up
To
a
set
new
everything up, Linda.
SureLC.
Okay.
Yeah. With my .life@gmail.com email address. But I think it had to be, I think Mark had something to do with setting that up so that it would come through to me. So check with Mark. Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Anything else? I just emailed you your new card, so it's ready when you have your email set up.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Because if I don't do it right away, then I tend to get like there was something else I was gonna do today.
Understood.
Thanks so much for everything, Misty. I'm so glad to be on board. I
Yeah.
really am. I'm
Glad
so
to
glad
have you.
I am so glad I made this jump. I was scared to death, but I'm so happy.
Me too. Me too. It's all
So
gonna
happy.
We had a little bit slower start than we wanted just because we onboarded so many people at once. Like,
Yeah.
My husband said that's a good thing because we get to start with you fresh.
you do, you get to start at the ground level. So that was one of the perks is you get a higher comp. And like, as I explained to the team, you know, next year our comps will probably all go up because as we show the
I
kids,
get it.
hey, we can
And
do
I
this
got a
business.
I got a fledgling who's in the middle of studying, and I said, just hang in there, keep studying, get that test done, because I'm be ready for you when you're ready.
Yep.
So she's ready.
So, yeah.
So as soon as I keep checking with her about every 2 or 3 days. How's you doing on your studying?
I know
Let's
my
get going.
husband's itching to grow. He's like, let's recruit. I'm like, I don't want to recruit. So we have the people we have trained. I don't
That's
want
exactly right. That's why I'm kind of going.
to. No. Yep. Yeah. So every time I have people, you know, some people already signed symmetry contracts. I was like, oh, they're going to symmetry. So
Yeah.
congrats on not doing a symmetry contract, Joy. Because
Yes,
Nope.
thank you for not sending it.
yep, the ones that, you know, like if they create an email right away and I, you know, send it to them right away. Yep, and Christine sent some to people even
She
after
just stopped talking to me.
because I sent her assistant deceased. I was like, if you reach out to one more of my people in the course, it's already been put in writing to you. She's like, they're on my automated. I'm like, well, it's very simple. Take them out of your automated. You no longer work for me. Those are not
Yeah.
your agents. Like, stop sending text to my agents that are in the course because they were sending contracts out too.
Oh,
So yeah, they were contracting people that were in the course with you. So that's why I was like, congrats on not signing that. Because one girl was like, I signed my contract. I'm like, oh, you signed the contract. You're going to symmetry.
I must have an angel over my head.
Yep. I did not want a huge team coming over here. I wanted to be able to truly focus on my agents. So I did not want a huge team. I want to be able to really work with you guys and get you up to my level. So then we'll focus on growing. Because then I have a lot more base people where I can be like, Linda, this girl's coming to you because you know what you're doing. Dylan, this agent's coming to you. This is we're building your team now. Congrats. I mean, you earn agents as you come up brackets too, but as I also grow, like there's gonna be like, I don't need everyone. So some people are gonna go to you, some people are gonna go to you. So once
You
it's
know, I'm just gonna point out a bright spot in this is that going through the grueling efforts of trying to find a qualifying policy for your less than healthy clients with symmetry
the task.
was so hard in comparison to this quoting tool that the sky is going to be the limit. It's just like
Holly and I are trading some
fight
quotes.
and
She's
build and
got some
wait,
ones she
go.
can't get approved over there. And I have some that are in states that we didn't get Jason licensed in. So I'm like, hey, I've got some people that are in states Jason's not licensed in. So I'll give you those. You give me your unhealthy people and we'll just swap. So
That's a good
for
thing
that
for
reason,
you.
because she's
Yeah.
like, I've got some people I can't get approved over here at Symmetry and you have carriers that will take them. I'm like, let's trade. So it works out.
Yeah. So that was a good training ground, battleground, whatever you want to call it, because I would sit here at night and I'd go, no, that's not going to work. Okay, let's go over here. No, that, oh, well, that might work. I have to ask. And